about the latest controversy, the email controversy, and how it's roiling the Clinton campaign. Let's start with CNN Chief National Security Correspondent Jim Sciutto. And Jim, we were stunned on Friday when Director Comey sent this letter, but now today former Justice Department officials are saying they were stunned too.
That's right, and former officials from both parties, as you said earlier. The FBI now in the beginning of a painstaking process, investigators using software comparable to a specialized search engine to try to isolate emails found on Anthony Weiner's computer that could be relevant to the Clinton server investigation. Officials make clear that it's unlikely the public will hear from the FBI director until there is information, if there is any, found pertinent to the email investigation. Tonight, CNN has learned that agents at FBI facilities in Quantico are now combing over thousands of emails on a laptop belonging to disgraced Congressman Anthony Weiner and his estranged wife, Huma Abedin, key aide to Hillary Clinton. Just 8 days from the election, the FBI has now obtained a warrant to search those emails found in a separate investigation of Weiner for allegedly sexting with a minor. Officials tell CNN that Comey was made aware of the emails in mid-October, but only went to Congress with the information after he was given a fuller briefing on Thursday. Today, the White House walking a fine line, praising Director Comey's character.
Director Comey is a man of integrity. He's a man of principle. He's a man who is well regarded by senior officials in both parties.
But communicating the importance of FBI traditions, limiting public discussion of ongoing investigations, especially close to an election.
Would not the White House say, let's put more information out there then?
I think that was the hope that Director Comey had. That was his stated hope of sending the letter in the first place.
Clearly it's not enough.
Well, clearly it had the opposite of the intended effect.
Comey's decision to go public so close to Election Day has drawn fire from both Democrats and Republicans,
Mr. President-elect,
including George W. Bush's Attorney General Alberto Gonzales, who spoke to CNN today.
and I really worry that in this particular instance, the FBI director has made an error in judgment in terms of releasing this kind of letter, which really says nothing.
However, when Comey testified on the Hill in September after recommending not to bring charges against Clinton, the FBI director did hint he would investigate if he discovered new evidence.
Would you reopen the Clinton investigation if you discovered new information that was both relevant and substantial?
It's hard for me to answer in the abstract. We would certainly look at any new and substantial information.
Joining me now is Dr. Ben Carson, a former Republican presidential candidate and current advisor to the Trump campaign. Dr. Carson, thanks so much for joining us. Let's start with Michigan, your original home state. Do you think that Donald Trump can actually win this state, which hasn't gone Republican for president since 1988?
I do think so. I was there yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and just a tremendous amount of enthusiasm. But you have to look at a state like Michigan, which was once a big manufacturing state, and you look what's happened, and a lot of that can be attributed to some of our trade policies and some of the regulatory issues. A small manufacturer, for instance, has to pay $34,000 per year per employee in regulatory costs. It makes it very difficult to compete with others in other nations. So, you know, I think those kinds of things will resonate. And as I've said before, I really don't think this is about Democrats and Republicans. I think it's really more about the political elite class and the people.
I want to play for you a clip from a brand new TV ad from a liberal group, Priorities USA. It plays the song "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman" while showing empowering images of women, and then it takes a turn. Take a look at this clip.
Before the day I met you, life was so unkind. You're the key to my peace of mind.
She ate like a pig. Does she have a fat ass? Absolutely. Boob job is terrible. She's a slob. Lips are too big. Solid 4. Disgusting pig. Flat-chested is very hard to be a 10. I moved on her like a bitch.
The ad ends with the tagline, how does Donald Trump make you feel? What would you say to a woman voter out there who watches that ad and says, you know, Donald Trump makes me feel like he does not respect women?
Well, I would say look at what he's done with his organizations, promoting women to high positions long before it was fashionable to do so. But I would also say, this is an incredibly important election coming up, and the issues are incredibly important. Please think about your children, think about your grandchildren, and what kind of a nation do we want? In one direction, we go toward a government-centric nation, and the other one, we go toward a people-centric government, which was the original intent. I think that's a very important issue, and don't be sidetracked.
Donald Trump has long boasted that he's given tremendously to charity for decades. A Washington Post investigation this weekend reported, quote, Trump had sought credit for charity he had not given or had claimed other people's giving as his own. There are 8 days until the election. Wouldn't a simple way for Mr. Trump to quiet his critics be to release his tax returns so the public can find out how much he does actually give to charity?
I suspect if he were to release them, there would be so much flutter about it that we certainly wouldn't be talking about the critical issues. We need to be talking about the economy and jobs and immigration and our stature in the world and the military and our children, education, our prison system, not to mention health care, my goodness. I mean, these are big issues for people right now.
Let me ask you a question about Iraq and ISIS. Mr. Trump has insisted that the battle for Mosul is not going well and that he could teach U.S. generals a thing or two. Iraqi troops are right now preparing to enter the city itself. They say the campaign's going faster and better than originally anticipated. Does that mean Donald Trump was wrong, or are the Iraqi, Kurdish, and U.S. officials wrong?
Well, when he talks about teaching the generals a thing or two, what he's talking about is in terms of how to stand up, to the commander-in-chief when you have a better idea. That's what he's talking about. Does he know more about military strategy? Of course not.
All right, Dr. Ben Carson, always good to see you, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Donald Trump's campaign taking as a vitamin B12 shot in the arm the FBI's announcement about newly discovered State Department emails, possibly pertinent to the Clinton email server investigation. The Trump campaign hoping that this can help him win states that the campaign had previously written off. CNN political reporter Sarah Murray is live in Warren, Michigan, where Trump is expected any moment. Sarah, a poll taken in Michigan before the FBI news had Clinton up by 7, but now Trump's advisors feel this news could put the state within reach.
Well, Jake, Michigan has lured Republicans in the past, only to leave them feeling burned on Election Day. But the Trump campaign is insistent that their internal polls show a tightening, not just here, but in other blue states that they're hoping to put in play. Donald Trump is betting on blue territory and cutting a tax to turn around his fortunes.
I think we hit the mother lode, as they say. Hillary is the one who broke the law over and over and over again. We can be sure that what is in those emails is absolutely devastating. Thank you, Uma.
The GOP nominee seeking to capitalize on the latest FBI probe surrounding Hillary Clinton's emails, insisting they'll reveal criminal activity, even though the FBI says it's too soon to tell whether the emails are even significant.
Hillary is likely to be under investigation for a very long time.
Trump hitting the trail today in Michigan, a state that hasn't voted Republican for president since 1988.
In 8 days, we're going to win the great state of Michigan.
That's as Trump's advisors acknowledge they need to flip at least 1 or 2 states that tilt blue, adding stops in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, after popping by Colorado and New Mexico this weekend. But in between swipes at Clinton, Trump is still raising eyebrows with his continued praise for Russian President Vladimir Putin.
And Hillary, she has such a bad relationship with so many countries. Putin can't stand her, doesn't respect her. They want to get ISIS. We want to get ISIS. We put everything together. We knock the hell out of ISIS. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be smart?
As outgoing Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid accuses the FBI of covering up ties between Trump and Russia without offering any evidence. In a letter to FBI Director James Comey, Reid says, "It has become clear that you possess explosive information about close ties and coordination between Donald Trump, his top advisors, and the Russian government, a foreign interest openly hostile to the United States, which Trump praises at every opportunity." Meanwhile, Trump is lobbing some fact-free claims of his own, still insisting voter fraud is widespread as he took aim this weekend at Colorado's mail-in ballot system.
I have real problems with ballots being sent. Does that make sense? Like people say, oh, here's a ballot here's another ballot, throw it away, oh, here's one I like, we'll keep that one.
As both sides trade barbs on the trail, they're also pointing to bright spots in early voting. Democrats are running ahead of their 2012 total in Colorado, and they're cutting into the GOP's advantage in both Arizona and Florida. But so far, Republicans appear to have made gains in Iowa and Ohio compared to 2012. Now, we're expecting Donald Trump to take the stage here in just a couple of moments, and his challenge here in Michigan is not just to dampen the enthusiasm for Hillary Clinton by going on the attack, but also to get some of these working-class white voters, people who are members of unions, who have voted Democratic in the past, to turn out for Trump on Election Day. Jake?